All right, for years, folks, he and P.J. Comanchic were the brain trust of wonderful Western Pennsylvania football, and sometimes I'd bring him over to Eastern Ohio, West Virginia. I did the play-by-play. Anybody can do play-by-play if you love the game, but the analysts really that matter most. But what I was really the best at was selling product, like Sheets Brothers Coffee. You get the best eats in a newsroom at KDKA, of course. Look at that. They don't spare on anything. Look at the icing on that. Bethel Park Bakery. And don't worry, I'm not going to eat all of this. Dr. Vactor may be watching. Here it is. Pizza from Batto's Pizza and Grill. You love that? Look at that crust. Now, Sindicato's Cigars, the smoke of your life. Last night, Taste the Good Life. And, of course, DeSalvo Station. So now that we took care of all of our friends, let's take care of some high school football. And then we're going to roll into some other things. Jeff Hathorne, Sports Director, 93.7 The Fan and News Radio 1020 KDK. Clairton and Jeanette, 8-0, 9-0.
Yeah, undefeateds, right? And it's a different year this year because of the new classification. Some of the rivalries have been destroyed. Some other ones will grow. I think this one is one that's probably going to be a typical end of the year, big game type matchup. And I'm kind of curious to see what Jeanette has. You know what Clairton has. I'm not saying Jeanette will win. I'm just wondering if Jeanette can keep up.
All right, you got Mount Lebanon and Bethel Park, but the game that if I had my druthers that I could be at tonight, it would be Beaver Falls and Beaver Valley Conference. You have got two teams that are vying for postseason. Here's the thing, though. Beaver loses with Darius Weiss, their exceptional quarterback. They're done for the year. If they win, they're the number one seed.
Yeah, which is a shame the way this whole works out. I don't know how all those teams, including Central Valley, don't get in the postseason. It's a flaw in the system, the way it's set up, but it is what it is. And, yeah, the pressure is on Beaver. Beaver Falls is in, and Beaver needs this win. I guess it brings more drama, but it's a shame because let's say Beaver were to lose, they could do a lot of damage in the postseason if they were allowed in.
And that Malik Shepard is some kind of an athlete, too. Donovan Jeter, of course, part of that big offensive line, 3 guys over 300 pounds, and he's real close to it. He is headed to Michigan to play for Jim Harbaugh. That was his verbal commitment. You've got North Allegheny and Pine Richland.
It would have been a great matchup if Jerkovich was playing. I think NA's going to they have Ethan Menza is a good quarterback, and he's healthy, and the only time they really struggled is with him out. I think NA is going to roll in this game because Pine Richland just doesn't have the most important player right now.
TJ, Bill Chirpak on West Mifflin.
Yeah, TJ's on a mission. This will be his 10th undefeated regular season, which is
10th.
Remarkable. 10th undefeated regular season. And I think Bill Chirpak, I think they'll do it. I think they're going to roll West Mifflin. They're kind of on I don't know if it's a revenge tour, but they're out to prove something this year, and we'll see what happens once they get in the postseason, but they're looking really good right now.
All right, now we're going to talk Pitt football. I believe out of the 8 games, they've all been decided in the final minutes. Last night, no exception. Whew, tough one. You got to be Pat Narduzzi. And there's a picture in the Post-Gazette slamming their headphones to the turf. I can understand why. They lose 39-36 to a very good football team, the Hokies, who came into the game rated 25th in the country.
Yeah, it was a tough loss. The way they lost, too. I mean, that's what Narduzzi plays. Like him or hate him, he plays man defense. And those corners keep getting burned. You may not like some of the penalty calls, but that's the way of college football. If you watch Penn State last week, they threw a number of jump balls, and it's a different game now. It used to be if you do that, coaches would scream and worry about an interception. You rarely see an interception on those 50-50 balls. It's either an incompletion, a penalty, or a completion. And 2 of the 3 are good for you if you're the offense. It's just a different game. You see these games in the 30s. Those are low-scoring games sometimes. Pitt's just struggling with it. DeMar Hamlin's going to play more now. We'll see what he's got. He's had some nagging injuries, but now he's going to get an opportunity to shine and look forward to next year.
All right, now we're going to talk pro football. Steelers off this week. You sold enough that Landry Jones could be the guy moving forward. Ravens up next Sunday. Then the Cowboys if Ben's not back.
They would have a chance against Baltimore with Landry Jones. They would need some other guys to step up, and most notably the defense. I mean, Flacco's going to have a week to get healthy. If he has time to throw it, he's going to burn the Steelers secondary. So can they get a pass rush on Joe Flacco? I look at more than what Landry Jones will do. I thought Landry was adequate, and that's what you want from a backup. I think he'll be adequate against Baltimore, as long as he doesn't turn it over. And he did have that big turnover in the end zone. But if he plays the game he did against New England, they have an opportunity in Baltimore. They just need to get some pressure on the quarterback. That's the biggest issue right now.
All right, last thing. Penn's underway practicing, coming off the win last night. Sidney Crosby gets the tie-breaking goal. They beat the Islanders 4-2. It's Philadelphia tomorrow, Wells Fargo Center.
It's always that game, right? Philadelphia, it's early in the year. Emotions are going to be running high. And then the Pens go on the road for 3 games way out west. So it's that first road trip, serious road trip of the year for the Penguins. They're not playing a full 60 minutes, but they own the third period. If you're going to own a period, own the third. And they've done a good job at that. And I think there is a fallacy to this. To expect the Penguins to play like they did in the Cup Finals every game is ridiculous. And as much as people didn't like Brooks Orpik saying this a couple of years ago, there are games where you're not going to play 100%. You may not like that, but that's the reality. You've got to protect your body throughout a whole year. And there are times there's going to be some shifts. There's going to be some things where you're not there 100. And that's just the way it is in this sport.
Billy Williams throwing out the ceremonial first pitch, a legendary Chicago Cubs during daylight baseball. First World Series game there, folks, in a whole lot of years, like 71 years to be exact. What do you think? Tonight, Cubs, Cleveland.
It really sets up well for the Cubs. Kyle Hendricks is magic at home. Now, if he can't find the strike zone, which would be a first for him this year, then maybe Cleveland has a chance. I mean, Cleveland they've been doing it through this postseason with great managing and having some guys step up like Andrew Miller. But they've got to get a lead to get Miller into the game, to get in that position, and that's going to be big for them tonight.
Jeff Hathorn, Sports Director, 93.7 The Fan, News, Radio 1020, KDK.